a state legislature like the Arizona state legislature could consider modest legislation to prohibit that act of flagging by social media platforms.
Former Missouri Solicitor General John Sauer was one of 3 speakers brought in today, testifying before the House Committee on Oversight, Accountability, and Big Tech. Another witness was Ilya Shapiro, a big tech attorney and a White House critic.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman and Representatives Aguilar and Carter for having me here to talk to you about the growing threat of government censorship of online speech.
Shapiro once said the president's decision to nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court would lead to a lesser nominee. He is among a number of those who says removing any posts from social media violates free speech. The lone Democrat on the panel argues allowing misinformation and falsehoods to spread can lead to dire consequences. He cited the ongoing threats to election workers.
There has to be some limits drawn here. People are spreading false information. People's lives are being threatened.
Today's speakers made the argument that the government threatens free speech when it asks for misleading and false information to be taken down. But Republican Representative Neil Carter from Mesa suggested possible legislation more in line with consumer protection laws. At one point, he said social media companies should have to clearly post what is and is not acceptable behavior on their sites.
It is, I would think, a best practice, most transparent, and best for business, really, to publish or make available whatever the community standards or the standards in short and black and white are for a platform.
Now, this committee was initially set up following reports that Governor Katie Hobbs asked a social media platform to remove certain election-related posts while she was serving as Secretary of State. The governor declined to comment today on the hearing. Back over to you guys.
All right.